Bubbles are tricky because they're very hard to define, and you would usually know that it's a bubble when it pops. I know people don't like to hear that. The usual or the working definition of a bubble in economics is if you're looking at asset prices that are actually going way above the fundamental level that is justified by the amount of discounted stream of cash flows that's supposed to accrue to the asset holders. And we don't see that housing prices are actually going in that direction at the moment. Bear in mind that interest rates are going to go up. And so HELOCs are priced with adjustable rates. And at the moment, housing prices are not that significantly different from the mean mortgage rate of interest. And so I don't really see a second housing bubble in the near future. We know that the Great Recession was actually caused partly because of loose credit standards. And whoever's holding HELOCs at the moment are not subprime borrowers. And so the lessons that we learned in a harsh way during the Great Recession is going to stay here for an extended amount of time. And so credit standards are not as loose anymore as they used to. And so we've learned that lesson. So I don't really think there is a bubble brewing in the housing market. No, and the reason is because the third-party valuation of auto prices is actually very strong. So there's a third party that actually values the prices of autos, and they're well respected by the whole industry, which is very much different from the housing market. The housing price valuation is just all over the place. And so I don't see any bubble brewing in the auto market. And the duration, too, of loans in autos are actually much, much shorter than home mortgages. CUNA's forecast is that the economy will grow 3% in 2016. I don't really see anything major that could derail that expansion. We know that an output gap remains, but if you look at long-term data, and if you smooth it out, you would actually see that the U.S. economy has been growing above trend. Obviously, weaknesses overseas, particularly with U.S. trading partners, could actually derail our expansion. Weaknesses overseas could cause the U.S. dollar to continue to appreciate. We need an uptick in demand for commodities, and that could only come from economic expansion here and abroad. And so all those factors could actually dampen U.S. economic expansion, but I don't think there's anything major out there that could actually derail our sustained economic growth in 2016. One of the challenges of oil prices is that there are many oil prices. There's a Brent and there's a WTI, and they're all different prices in energy and oil products. At the current rate, I don't really think that it's sustainable. It cannot continue to fall indefinitely, and if that happens, a lot of other firms would actually exit the industry, and then you will have a market correction. And so at the current level, it's not sustainable. How low can it go? There are some forecasts that actually say it could probably go down to as low as $20 per barrel. But I don't think at that rate, if ever we get to that rate, I don't think it's going to stay there for an extended amount of time, because that would not really cover the cost of the firms. And so then you would have to see a narrowing in terms of the number of the firms in the industry, and then you'll have the market adjustments, and then it will be, the oil and energy prices will be priced accordingly. Two things. One, it's good to know that most of the respondents actually reported that they have extra cash to cover for unexpected expenses. And another thing is that most of the respondents reported that they are well off financially this year compared to last year. And so it tells you that we now have an American consumer that's actually more financially astute. And the fact that they're not going to be spending as much as they used to, it tells you that the American consumers do not want to overindulge, which is not really a bad thing. If you combine both, the lack of overindulging and financially astute consumers, the net effect of the economy will be positive.